Welcome to Nurse Burnout Solutions, the show that empowers you to beat stress, reclaim your energy, and discover lasting fulfillment in your nursing career. I'm your host, Betty McLean. I'm a nurse with over 20 years of experience, and I'm also a certified life and certified burnout coach. I'm here to share expert insights with you, a lot of practical tools, and some inspiring stories. So join me as we navigate the challenges of a career in healthcare, and I help you find renewed purpose and resiliency, one episode at a time. Okay, I want to talk about quitting the nursing profession. That is a big topic, and I'm going to keep this very, very short and as focused as possible. I believe that you do not have to quit your nursing career in order to heal from burnout. I believe that you can stay in the nursing profession and heal and feel empowered and feel well and have work-life balance and all the things. We're gonna get into it. But I want to preface all of this with quitting might be the right answer for some nurses. And that's okay. Taking a leave of absence might be the right answer depending on what you have going on, and that's okay too. But if you are at a place in your career where you are burnt out, you are exhausted, you have lost your care for the people, and you really think quitting is your only option, I want you to just hang in for a second. Hang with me because there is options for healing while staying in the nursing profession. The problem is not the job. Okay. And I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say it in multiple ways. The problem is not the career. Okay. The problem is the way we are working. Over the last several years, the way that nurses are being taught to show up and to give and to interact with their profession is becoming very disempowered. Like the nurses are asked to be disempowered. I've been a nurse for 21 years, and over the last 20 years, I have noticed this shift from nurses choosing, like making this conscious decision that I'm here, I choose this, to this it's been very subtle, but it's like this, I have to do this. I don't want to be here, but I have to do it anyway, kind of a mentality. Now, I've tried to make this point in some Facebook posts, and I got told that I was victim shaming, and this is not what I'm trying to communicate. What I'm trying to communicate is your thoughts dictate how you feel. End of story. This is true of your thoughts about your job. This is true of your thoughts about the people you're around. This is not some random life coaching idea. This is science. This is neuroscience. This is psychology. When we think a certain thing, when we have a certain thought, that thought is just an electrical impulse in our brain, right? And that creates a cascade, and we feel an emotion. When you go into work day after day and your boss says, we're adding this to your plate. We're doing this. We're doing this. You're now required to do this. You're now required to do this. And they toss stuff at you. Your how you think about your mentality, how you think about your boss, how you think about your workload, how you think about your coworkers, all of that determines how you feel. And how you feel shows up in your actions. Again, this is standard psychology. This is the basis of cognitive behavioral therapy. What you think creates a feeling, and we act from our feelings. Our behavior is influenced directly from our thoughts. Okay. So, all of that to say, if you want to stay in the nursing profession, you can. You can learn to love the nursing profession again. You just have to change your thoughts. That's it. So simple, not easy. Okay? It's very and that I just said, very oversimplified, right? But the job is not the problem. Okay? Your bosses aren't necessarily the problem either. Okay? And I'm going to say something super controversial here. The healthcare system is not the problem. The American healthcare system right now is so fundamentally broken. But the what I see the problem as is the people working, the nurses, the doctors, the CNAs, the middle management, right? No one's stopping. No one's questioning, stopping and saying, you know what? I'm going to take my power back here. And I'm going to say, this is not okay. I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to do that. That's it. I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think that's assignment's appropriate. I don't think what you're asking me to do as a healthcare organization is appropriate for my degree and my licensure, whatever the situation is, right? Now, the problem that I see is because so, and I can't speak to doctors per se, or even like our unit clerks and things like that, but I know most nurses, we feel so disempowered. We are literally on that edge of burnout, or we're in burnout, and the thought of standing up for ourselves feels overwhelming. Like if I say no to an assignment, that means everybody around me hates me, right? They're all going to get mad, which they might. Whether or not they hate me or not, that's a whole nother conversation. But if I say no to an assignment, I don't think it's appropriate. There's paperwork I have to fill out. My manager's going to be upset. My charge nurse is probably going to be upset. My coworkers might get upset. There's going to be this whole drama, right? And if I'm not in a union hospital, there might be repercussions, right? I might not have the legal protection if I work in a non-union hospital, right? I've only ever worked union, so I can't speak to specifically to that non-union situation, but I'm sure there's a level of anxiety that comes with that, knowing that if I stand up to something I think is wrong, I could be fired, right? The problem here is that when we allow ourselves to not feel powerful, to not stand up for what we know is right, when we as a collective group of highly educated people, when we give the healthcare organization the right to make any decision, to tell us we have to do anything they say, we are creating this unhelpful power dynamic. Okay. So when I say the healthcare system is broken, it's because there's no check and balance on it. Now there's a lot of things that go into it. But if as nurses we can learn to heal, we can learn to take really good care of ourselves on our days off, learn to like get therapy to heal from the trauma that we experience. If we can get a life coach on board to help us create really good boundaries and create a life that is sustainable, to start feeling more powerful, we can influence our coworkers, our managers, we can influence our hospital systems, We can influence the state of healthcare in America. But from my perspective, it starts inside us. It starts with managing our thoughts, noticing when we are feeling defeated, notice when we are feeling overwhelmed and stressed, and learn how to change those feelings, not push them away, not ignore them, but truly process them and change them into feeling grounded, feeling secure, and feeling powerful. You have that within you. You are capable of making a difference in the world if you can learn to ground yourself, feel confident, and like know that you are going to be okay within yourself no matter what happens around you. You get to choose that for yourself, regardless of your whether or not you stay in your current job, whether or not you work for that particular boss or not. You get to choose how you feel inside. Nobody gets to decide how you feel, right? I love that quote from, and I might get it wrong, but I love that quote from Eleanor Roosevelt about no one can make you feel inferior without your permission. I believe that's the quote. But it really speaks to this idea that our feelings are an inside job. If we're feeling overwhelmed, overburdened, that's because our thought patterns are creating that. So really what your opportunity here is to learn to work within those feelings of stress and overwhelm and overburdened. Learn how to take that feeling apart, right? And then create something new in its place. Not bury it, not push it away. Those negative, overwhelmed emotions do not go away. We have to learn to process them and create something new with that energy. Okay. And we do that by learning to manage our thoughts, by learning to say, I'm not a victim here. I could choose to walk away if I wanted to, but I want to stay in my profession. If that's true, like if you want to stay in your profession, you have to start telling yourself, I'm choosing to work here. I'm not stuck, right? That's the first step. Like, I'm not stuck. I'm learning to be here and be grounded and be calm and be in control. Okay. So that's kind of your opportunity as you think about, do I need to quit nursing? I'm burnt out. Maybe I need to quit the profession altogether. Take some time with your thoughts. Do some journaling. What are your thoughts about the profession? Are all of your thoughts negative and victimy and stuck? Is it all about how other people are mean and toxic and you can't ever do anything right and all of that? If those are your thoughts and none of your thoughts are, I'm capable of taking care of myself. I'm capable of providing good care. If you don't have any thoughts that make you feel grounded and well and in control, then you're going to continue to slide into burnout and you will eventually have to leave. But if you can learn to start creating new emotions within yourself, like you can stay in the career, you can learn to love this career again, and you can start to influence other people. We can start to change healthcare if we first take care of ourselves. Now, this is a big, complex ask that I'm offering you. It is not easy to go from this place of having overwhelm and stress and all of these uncomfortable negative emotions within yourself, learning to process them, learning to create this powerful new identity. It's a process, and to speed it up and to make it most effective, having a therapist or a life coach guide you through that is really the best way to do it. But you can start by doing some journaling about what are your thoughts about healthcare? What are your thoughts about yourself in healthcare? And what are the emotions that you are creating within yourself? So start there. And if you are noticing that you feel very stuck, consider hiring, please, either a therapist to help you deal with the trauma that you have experienced, the moral injury that you have experienced, and or talk to me about a free consultation call. So you can email me, Betty at aimforgreatnesscoaching.com. You can message me on my social media accounts and just tell me, hey, I think I am feeling stuck and I want to talk about how I get unstuck. Okay. Because you don't have to leave your career. You can continue to be a nurse in this beautiful, amazing profession if you can learn how to take care of yourself really, really well. And I can help you do that. So let's talk if that's you. Otherwise, please just continue to notice what you are feeling, what you are thinking, and how that is showing up in your actions and your behaviors. And that will potentially help you start to get unstuck. If you are not sure where you land on the whole burnout thing, am I in burnout? Am I just stressed? Like all of that. I have a free burnout quiz. It's at www.aimforgreatnesscoaching.com/burnout quiz. And you'll get the result of whether you are in the early, middle, late, or final stages of burnout. And then also some really practical steps for what to do next with that information. So that's also a great resource if you feel like you're not quite ready to reach out to a therapist or to reach out to me for a consultation. So let's keep this conversation going. And let's continue to keep nurses in the profession if they want to be there. Thanks for listening today to Nurse Burnout Solutions. Remember, I really believe that all stress is manageable and burnout is not inevitable. If you are struggling with stress or in burnout, I can help. Check out the show notes for ways that we can connect and get you the support that you deserve.